Hello. If you happen to find this video in one way or another, thank you for even just clicking on the dang thing. And if you stick around and watch it, thanks. Appreciate you. I'm not doing this for any other reason. And going over the topic of my surface thoughts and impressions of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Not a full review, or I would put some effort into that. But just giving my initial impressions after beating the game, and etc. I'm just going to have a playthrough. You can see the channel name down there, the bottom. What's that, bottom right? Link in the description if you wish to watch it. It does a good job, by the way. It's pretty dope. Yeah, and the music I will also be placing in the description. If you want to listen to this, it's a full like concert stream thing, which I think is totally dope. Go ahead and support people. I'm using their material in the background. There isn't going to be anything special in the background, no flashy changes or anything like that. So there is no reason to watch the video if you don't need to. So you can have it on in the background while you do other stuff, whatever you're doing. I don't care. Just appreciate you if you are watching and listening. So reason why I'm doing that, this and that, like a full scripted breakdown is if I'm going to do a script for anything, it's going to be meaningful. And it would be like for a full review, and that ain't my shit. Sorry. I'm not here like monetizing. I'm just wanting to add vocals and information from someone who has played Final Fantasy games since what? I was 8, 9, I believe, and a long history of playing RPGs and how important 7 is to me from just the importance of it. And Rebirth has made me want to add my voice to what would end up being a huge array of voices that are going to be added to the conversation of Rebirth that's going to happen. We're talking about a game that's being remade that is a iconic, important milestone for just gaming in general, right? So there's going to be opinions, and I'm going to throw mine. I'm going to throw mine in there. So it's like, why should we even listen to you, bro? I've been playing RPGs for a very, very long time. And Final Fantasy games, I have pretty much put myself in every single one of them. I played them all, consumed them as well. I will say all. Well, actually, yeah, I have. I haven't finished all, but I have played every single Final Fantasy, including the mobile games, by the way. And 7, I have eaten up every single thing I can think of, from music to whatever you can think of. I have consumed it when it comes to 7. So Rebirth. First initial impressions on Rebirth is I was not expecting this game to be this long, and it is long. Most people who play RPGs, myself included, I'm not gonna say sandbag, but we take our time when we play our RPGs. It's usually how you do play RPGs. It's you look around for stuff, you talk to NPCs, listen to the story, trying to get the world developed and all of that, right? And all of that takes up time. Eats up time. Side questing, grinding, farming, right? I can say for myself, I've maybe done about 5 hours of some level of grinding-esque, and maybe like another 2-3 hours of like build crafting. You give me a video game that allows me to build craft with RPG elements, I'm in. And I'm all up in that. Give me that, please. And the materia system is chef's kiss, as it usually is. On the topic of materia, the only problem I have with the materia is there's just not enough of at least the pivotal ones. If you know, you know, but it's a little different feeling when you can't get a hold of like 3 copies of something because you want it for like 3 copies of who you're gonna be playing with. But beside the point, I've extremely surprised at this length. I ended up finishing at 112 hours is where I finished the game fully. I did not do every side quest on top of that, and I did not master or play every mini game to its completion. Usually for me, not for me, but when I say that, I mean there are mini games that have a hard mode to them. I didn't do it. I'll return to those. And Gold Saucer has a bunch of mini games. There's only a few of those that I played to where I got everything. Only a couple. I think my PlayStation said I was at like 68 or 69% of achievements for the games. Most of the other achievements are in hard mode. A lot of them. Oh my gosh. If you are a completionist, good luck with this game. They make, if you 100% this game, you are the 1%. You are 1% of not just the people who've done it, but you're a gamer god at that point. So yeah, the game is girthy. The game is girthy, which is surprising to me that it was this amount of girthy. And I've seen already comments and people's takes, and a couple of them I am not in agreement with. I have seen people say this might be the greatest game of all time. I have a problem with that conversation with media. And we're talking TV shows, movies, anime, whatever, right? Video game. It is not a productive conversation. You say, what's the greatest movie of all time? That beats every other movie, period. You're going to get 1,000 different answers, so on and so on. Generally, that's usually why people will have, this is the best, my personal favorite that I believe, and they'll articulate why. Those are more interesting. But goated? No. I'm not going to sit here and give Rebirth the goated title. I've seen the best. This is the best Final Fantasy game ever. I could argue that point a bit more and would willing to have a back and forth on that, but I don't agree. Only on the premise that putting Rebirth, specifically Rebirth, up against other Final Fantasy numbered games, by the way, is unfair. I think if you are comparing Rebirth to any Final Fantasy game, it has to be Final Fantasy X2. It has to be Final Fantasy 13 2. Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, right? The tactics spin-offs, stuff like that. Those would be what you would be comparing 7 Rebirth to. And okay, yeah, I agree with this. If we put those all together and say which one of these games are the best, Rebirth by a country mile. Square Enix doesn't do sequels very good. They don't need to do prequels very good either. Outside of Crisis Core, which is again tied to Final Fantasy 7. So outside of Final Fantasy 7 for Square Enix, it's if it's not tied to Final Fantasy 7, if it's a prequel or a sequel, it's trash if it's not 7 related. So I don't agree with being this is the best Final Fantasy game. No. Another thing is that the game isn't completed. This is the second game. We have a third one coming. We know this. So it's not finished. This game is finished. The story isn't finished. And that is also unfair to both Rebirth and the other games. So as a numbered final, nah, we're not having that conversation either. I have said to a friend and stated that I think Rebirth is the most completed Final Fantasy of all time, maybe? Like, in its own package, if we're talking about a video game. It's a video game, video game RPG, whatever you need. We're talking about music, cinematic, pacing, storytelling, character development, fun, side content, replayability, all that stuff, right? I can see the argument, and I had leaned to that this might be the best full packaged game that Square Enix has dropped in a long time, if not the best. Mostly because of the replayability. The game wants you to come back and play it in hard mode. It wants you to. It's begging. Ooh, I popped there. I'm sorry. Begging you to come play it in hard mode. It's like, please do it. Do it. I wish you would. And replayability is important in games nowadays because you're getting more bang for your buck. You can sit here and say $70 for a 110-hour game is extremely good. I will be happy to pay $70 for a good game that was 110 hours of my time. I was considered that to be good. I'm not done with this game. I'm probably going to end up having close to 200 hours played in this game once I go through it in hard mode. And $70 for 200 hours of potential gameplay is bank. Come on. That's fair AF. Sorry. Here, let me give you $70, sir. May I have 200 hours of good old fun? I'll take that. Please, in the day and age that we live in with microtransactions and stuff like that, please. The game is as complete as it can be outside of the obvious, the story, because we know there's a third one. That's the biggest. It's not really complete because the story's not finished. True. This is true, and it's a negative versus it, but legitly everything else is untouchable. Everything else is untouchable in the standards of every other game that they have released. It's untouchable. So, yeah, I'm comfortable with giving this game the title of most complete full package of video games Square Enix has done ever. But for me personally, I am going to give Rebirth, in my opinion, title or what it means. I still haven't even formulated my thoughts on how to even describe this in like a single word or single, title, and slap that as bam. There it is. Because it's hard to convey it in a single word that doesn't make it can't be done. And to me, what Rebirth is, it is one of the only games I have ever played and experienced where I feel like it's 1997 again, or 1998. I think for me was when I played 8 for the first time, and I'm a kid again, playing this virtually the same game and experiencing, grinning from ear to ear, enjoying my time, spending hours of my time, trash and clothes and room becoming messy, eating my favorite foods, and just having the time of my life, playing and reminiscing over something that I played back in 1998, and it feeling the same, but not also it feeling that feeling of playing it being like I'm playing the same thing, so it feels like not even just that, but in the fact that I am much older now, and the game is new, but old at the same time. It's familiar to me. These characters are familiar. The scene, the music is all familiar, but yet so new. So fresh and changed. And it's more either good or bad, complex and deep. So it's like, it's so weird to have the feeling that when I'm playing the game, I'm reminiscing and remembering something that was done, and like it felt like Saturday morning again, 1998. Don't talk to me, I'm playing my game, but it also felt new. It is strange to be able to explain this, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't, I can't explain it any other way, other than I don't think any game I have ever played has ever made me feel that. A sense of I'm remembering and playing and feeling emotions, joy that I did back when I played a very similar game back years ago. But it also being being a new experience. And I'm still learning new things. I'm having new memories and new things implemented that is adding to the love of the original thing that I played several years ago. There's nothing that has done that. I can't compute that into words. That, to me, is what Rebirth is. And I know there's a few negative notes that people kind of have with Rebirth. The biggest one is probably going to be the ending, because the ending for Remake got shit on too, and rightfully so. It's meant to be polarizing. But there's very few negative things in this game. Only negative things for me I'm going to go through is the ending is part of it, but not like the ending itself, what the ending kind of does. I'll get to that in a minute. My only real big negative is mini games. There's plenty full of them, but good God, there's so many, and they're good. They're not bad. After 90 hours, I don't want to play mini games anymore. Not because they're not good, but it's like, okay, come on now. I ain't trying to do this right now. So that's a negative. That's a nitpick, right? It's a nitpick. So yeah, it's not that crazy. My second big con or concern is again nitpicky, and it's mostly towards newcomers to 7. And I think there's a lot of newcomers to 7, more than I think that we think. I hope Square Enix goes out their way to do like a worldwide poll on is Remake and Rebirth your first interaction with Final Fantasy 7 as a whole? Like, is this your first Final Fantasy 7 game? Not your first Final Fantasy game. It might be. I think due to the success of 16, I have seen this. A lot of people have said that 16 was my first Final Fantasy game because a lot of people weren't into RPGs, or they didn't like RPGs, or they didn't want to go back to play RPGs. They're too grindy. All that extra stuff that people kind of put as negative things towards JRPGs specifically. And they stayed away from Final Fantasy, or they thought it was confusing. There's 16 of them. Do I have to play all of them? Yeah. Which one do I start? It's daunting. But when 16 dropped, it was just bang, boom, cool. And it being an action-focused game, it being trying to captivate new people, freshness, right? 16 did that to the T of perfection. What do you think the thought process is? If you played 16 and enjoyed it, what do you think people did? Oh, what else can I play that's similar to this. Is there anything else that they've done that's similar to this? Yeah, it's called Final Fantasy 7 Remake. You're like, oh, I know at least of that because of the spiky hair guy and Sephiroth. They were in Smash. Or something like that, right? And yeah, a lot of people's first interaction with 7 content is going to be remaking Rebirth. And I am very worried that the ending of Rebirth is going to cause people mass confusion, because it's confusing already the best of us. And people are already starting to get the theories going and replaying, rewatching, and those are all the fun things. That's not fun for someone who has never sipped the ever-flowing juices of 7 content. And I'm not even talking the game that's on screen right now. I'm talking about Advent Children, which is free. You should watch it if you have it on YouTube. You haven't played Crisis Core. You haven't played the phone game and know what's going on with Rufus Shinra. You haven't played Dirge of Cerberus. You haven't there were like articles. I don't remember the articles, but little books of information, little compendium of 7 about some other things that weren't done or looked into. So much of the universe of 7 is scattered, and if your first interaction with it is remake and into Rebirth, you are lost, and those people are going to feel like I'm not gonna say they're not going to play Reunion, because they're going to at this point. They're like, please tell me what's going on. They're gonna get invested, but because we're in the age of information, I feel like people are going to try and find that information, and they're going to get ruined of the discovery in Reunion. There's going to be some discovery that even new people are going to be discovering for the first, not new people, but old players that we're going to be like, whoa, because it's almost a new story, but not really. But I feared people are going to be so confused that if they go into the internet to find what answers to what's going on, they are going to become more confused. They're going to be like, wait, what? And they're going to have to find more information. And I hope that makes it that more people go play 7 in its original form. But I don't know. But those are my main concerns. Those are like my only concerns. But overall, final thoughts and impressions is, if you are a Final Fantasy 7 fan and you have not played Remake to get to Rebirth, I highly suggest you do that, because Rebirth is worth it. If you have some issues with it, whatever those issues may be, I'm letting you know it's worth it. It is worth it. I have heard some a lot of obviously not bad takes, but what I don't like X thing is with this product, and why I don't play, or I might not play, etc., etc. With the open mind to just having fun playing a game, Rebirth is going to make you all of that go away. I promise you. It might still make you a little upset one way or another, but the combat, the music, the package, it's hard to not want to make sure people who enjoy anything 7 don't get to play this game. Don't do that to yourself. I'm being completely honest. I know others are waiting, potentially because they want to play the whole game in full. I'm going to say good luck with that. I'm sorry. This game is going, if you try to play Remake, Rebirth, and which will probably be called Reunion, the third game, you're looking at potentially 200 plus hours. And I don't know about anybody, but you're not finishing 200 hours of a game in a month. So unless you are committed to having a 2-month experience of playing a game solely only, right? You're gonna hurt your experience of the game. Period. You're going to, like, if you play Remake, stop. Rebirth, stop. or in the middle you're stopping, you go play something else for a month, or not a month, a week, or you're going to ruin that experience for yourself because you're not doing it in one go. You're not going to do it. No one is going to do 200 hours of one stop. Just, we got a year. This to come out on PC. That's probably the other negative thing. Not for me, unfortunately. I have a P5. Okay, P5 actually means Persona 5, PlayStation 5, whatever. Which is the biggest barrier of getting into this game. It will probably be a year and a half until 2025, 26 that this comes out for PC. If in between now and 2025, I am encouraging you to get your hands on Remake, play it whenever, either 2024, 25, pick one. But you need to be prepared to get into this game. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. If you are a JRPG fan, I don't know what you're doing, but you do the same thing. Stop it. Stop playing. Stop playing. If you are neither of those things, up to you. Up to you. I would say, even as just a gamer in general, you should still be trying to play Remake and Rebirth, only because this is going to be similar to 7 the original 7, and that this whole 3-game series is going to be the start of more remakes, and more remakes that are trying to do more than just, we're gonna do the, remember when we had the era of the remaster, right? Everyone's remastering, and that's kind of getting old and not fulfilling. The remake bug is gonna catch there, and there's already so many things you can think. Ocarina of Time remake, Metal Gear 2 remake. Come on, stop it. Like, those companies aren't gonna see the dollar signs that can potentially be made. They might not put as much effort that Square Enix is doing, because there's big budget money going into this. Everyone's gonna want their favorite old 90s game to be a remake, and it's going to be mostly because of this series. Apart, there's some other games too. Obviously, Resident Evil remakes have been that. This ain't it. They ain't this. Sorry, they're great. They're S tier. They ain't this. They ain't this. So, for gamer, I'm giving you get on it. So, I've been going on for forever. This is almost 30 minutes. If you've watched this whole entire thing from start to finish, God bless you. I'm sorry you had to listen to me. Again, a script would be nicer to limit this to like maybe 15 minutes, but hey, I do not care. But thank you very much. I hope you have an amazing, blessed week or weekend, whatever it is for you. Stay safe. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, and keep out of other people's Frosted Flakes. Just stay in yours. All right, cool. Thank you. Peace.